All right, what's going on, y'all? Court is in session. Actually, we're gonna take it easy on the court tonight, man. Tonight, I'm just kind of kicking it with y'all, and we just doing a little reminiscing, and I be thinking about it a lot of times, and sometimes, man, I wanna, like I be, as we getting older and days going on, you forget some of this stuff. And a lot of this stuff I didn't want to forget. So that's a lot of reasons why I tell these stories. A lot of these people I don't want to forget, man, because it seems as if, once you in there and that's the end of your story, then that's the end of your story. So I'm going to tell y'all about Cab Driver, okay? So Cab Driver, I don't even remember Cab Driver's real name. He was one of them country niggas, one of them country boys. I met him in River State Prison. Now this is after I had already come from Alto, and that's significant because I done came from a close security prison down to a medium security prison, which means there's not as much violence. There's a little bit more freedom. When you move from close security, then medium security, then minimum security, and minimum security prison is like a transitional, a halfway house, transitional center. That's minimum security prison. So medium security prison, a lot of them do work on the town. So like if you see prisoners out doing work, cutting grass, picking up stuff on the side of the road, they'll even use them for like real jobs out there in the smaller towns, right? So when I'm going down to medium security, it's like a breath of fresh air, because now you no longer have the threat of raping, the threat of it's a little violence, but it's not like maximum security prison. You damn near guaranteed to get hurt in there. So once you move down to minimum, it's survivable, right? You can do your time, how they say. So, man, Cab Driver, when you're in there doing time, you're going to always hear about people and what they did. And, some of it be true, some of it don't. Like I heard about a guy, one of my nemesis that I told y'all about, Travis Glover. The rumor was he was locked up for killing the guy over a cigarette. And, once I end up reading his paperwork and doing and looking over the case a little bit, and it just seems like a little bit more than that. He did walk up to the guy and ask him for a cigarette, but I think that was just his way of engaging the man. It no matter if the man said yeah or no, he was going, because he shot him like 6 times. So whether the man said yeah or no, he was going to shoot him anyway. Cab Driver got his name because he killed a cab driver. He asked for a ride somewhere. The man took him wherever he was going. I don't know if he strangled him while in the backseat, or I don't know how it is, but he killed a cab driver. His name Cab Driver, right? So now Cab Driver, he got weight on him. John Mack loved to work out. If I'm gonna show y'all a picture of John Mack, man. That was my partner. He's from Augusta. And dang, man, see, it's crazy because John Mack, so I met him in prison. So that's the only guy that I've ever known when it comes to John Mack. And the guy that I known was, man, listen, he was silly, goofy. He was just, man, he was really a good guy. I don't know how that come over, relate or whatever, but he was a good guy. I mean, you could ask him for stuff. He could get anything from me. You know what I mean? He could come and ask me for something out my box. I ain't got to go get it. I tell him go and get it. because we were striking down there. Striking mean we were getting stuff in. We were getting the weeds in, right? So when we get the weed in, John Mack wasn't getting a lot of money or a lot of motion from the outside world. He would get sometime, but not a lot, right? But, you know, he was such a good dude that once the stuff came in, he didn't have to add. We would break him off, you know what I mean? Because he was just, it was almost like keeping a good vibe in the dorm, you know what I mean? He was just one of the good dudes. You wouldn't want to turn him down if he needed something, right? Man, and he was a blood. He was a blood dude, man. And he was older. John Mack was, when I met him, he was about 36, 37 years old. Stocky, man. Strong as oh my God, strong as an ox. And he wasn't no joke, man. It comes out that John Mack was it comes out that John Mack was locked up for murdering a whole room of people. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, whatever went wrong, I think he went to get one person, and there was maybe 3 or 4 people in the room. So he done everybody, you know, and it was like put on him as a mass murderer, and he was given a lot of time. I don't know, life sentences or what, but you know, it's the same because a lot of times, you know, you can see that, you know, even though these guys, they trying to live with their consequences, or they don't do much talking about it because ain't much you could talk about, ain't much you could do about it. They just try to live day for day and do their little time and do what they can, right? But it's not something that you could talk about because, you know, I'm going home one day and you're not. So this could be it could be a topic of tension. It could end bad, which is not my fault that you're not going home or I am going home, even though, but it could just, you know, so we leave those kind of subjects off the table. So you never really know, you know what I mean, unless there's a situation where you roommates with a person and y'all just get to talking. And most times, even then, if you got a guy who been locked up 20, 25 years, it's possible he ain't talked about his case in 20 years. You see what I'm saying? So those are those guys, man. Cab driver, and you could tell it was weird because when I got locked up, I was 14 years old, so I wasn't hip to the behaviors and attitudes of drug abusers, heavy drug abusers, hard drug abusers. You know, the cocaine and the heroin. So. So, you know, like one of the things now is, you know, I mean, it's like what I know now is even like crackheads, people that be crackheads on the street, if they end up catching some time, they can go down to prison. And, you know, if somebody visit them in 2 or 3 years, man, they will be the person that, you know, who they'll be the real person. Like the person that you know them to be. Like if your uncle was smoking crack, if he was a hustler before he started smoking crack and then he caught a case and went down to prison, when you go to see him, you ain't gonna see that crackhead that was running around and couldn't make 2 and 2 equal 4. You gonna see the real unc. You know, ain't no more drugs. They been sober, can't get their hands on it. They thinking, they working out, mastermind. They be writing you 3-4 page letters, and they be done got their life together. It be pretty, you know what I mean? It's amazing. And I used to always see it. People would just, all they wanted was for that person to come back on the street. And they'll convince them every time, like, man, I done that. I done did this, I done that. I'm done with the bullshit. And when I come back, it's going to be up and up. And there are people to go for it every time. Them people come right out there and get the smoking on that crack, right? So yeah, man. And like I said, I wanted to. So John Mack was gonna be one of my honorable mentions. The honorable mentions is, like I was telling y'all at the beginning, the people who I'm just going to tell y'all a little quick story about them sometime just because, they be them people I be them forgot or people that I knew in my past. But yeah, John Mack was I guess he was a mass murderer, cab driver. He killed the cab driver. And it's weird because I'm doing time around these people and it's just everyday stuff and everyday people and everyday things and everyday but they be murderers, right? So, but at the same time, I had my respect. I was known as one of the young boys that came from Alto, and you could put a period behind that. Young boy from Alto, that was like at the other prisons, that was a statement in itself. When Alto got closed down because it was so bad, they had to ship everybody somewhere else. So when the other prison saw boys from Alto coming in, that was them Alto boy. He watched them nigga bad as hell, right? So that was the reputation I already had. I was one of the bad ass Alto boys. Not only did I have a reputation, but I could really fight a little bit. So, man, we striking, we getting the trees in, and we had been going on with that operation for a minute. And it was weird because, like, cab driver, I know he considered himself a bully, but he one of them kind of bullies where, he ain't no real bully. He one of them coward ass bullies. Like, I'm gonna take his hat and his shoes, but I ain't gonna do it to this guy over here. You know what I mean? He's scared he really a coward. That kind of guy. You can make him tuck his tail. And he was real mean looking. You know what I'm saying? We call it a mug. He had the mug down packed. So, it was part of his boo game. If you ran into a cab driver and you didn't know, that I ain't gonna say he was no chump because he was on go, but if he could just feel your weakness, then he would go ahead and go with his move. So, he was doing his little thing around there. He would get in a little trouble and little stuff and little this and little that. And too much wouldn't be much of nothing, right? But he still had them crackhead ways, had the missing tooth in the front. And overall, I just don't like him. I ain't like him. I ain't have much use for him. But we had no reason to be bumping heads. At this time, I'm a young dude. I'm damn near swole, right? Swole off calisthenics. I do like 500 push-ups a day. Then I do my whatever kind of workout regimen I was on, some kind of boxing regimen, just to keep. You don't want to get your hands to the point where you don't want to lose their muscle memory. You know what I mean? Because if you stop for a long time and then get to throwing, if you're a dude that's used to training, it could feel foreign to you. So, you know what I mean? Just give me a little throwing in, do a little whatever. So one day I'm in there working out and I can't for the life of me, I can't understand why. I mean, I know what it is, man. Them drugs really make you do. They'll talk to you. They'll make you do stuff. They'll make you try your hand. You know what I mean? So I'm back there in the back big TV room working out. I used to like to work out when when it was most empty. So everybody would be gone. Like most people who go in the detail, they doing the detail and everybody else at the front of the dorm. So I'm in the back by myself. I got music on and I'm working out. Most of the time I just got a card deck and I'm going through the card deck. And the thing about it is, a lot of times I wouldn't rest at all in between flipping the card. My only rest would be flipping the card. But I can only do that for maybe 10 or 12 cards. And then it'll get to the point where I would do the card and I would have to maybe wait 5 seconds. So it's like if I got a deck of cards, shuffle them, boom. When I flip a card, if it was a 5 or down, I would do double. So if I got a 4, I would do 8 push-ups. If I got a 3, I would do 6 push-ups. If I got a 5, I would do 10 push-ups. So if it was a 5 or down, I would do double. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I would do what that card say. Face cards were 10, aces were 15, jokers were 25. I was doing the whole deck. It would put me past 500. So I'm back there doing my card deck. I'm feeling it, right? I'm feeling it. So I might have flipped. I did a card, get it. And when I come up to rest and do my thing, we had struck that day. So when we strike, what happens is, we strike, everything's going to happen on second shift. Even if, what come in on first shift, we ain't touching nothing. We ain't doing nothing until second shift. We ain't gonna touch nothing until second shift, because second shift is a lot more calm down. Administration done closed down. They didn't went home. Most time the wardens are gone. You ain't gotta have your over. You can be in t-shirt and flip flops. You ain't gotta be inspection ready, what they call it, dressed to head to the toe, right? So back there doing my push-ups, and we just waiting on the shift to change, because when we done already struck, meaning the weed done came in, shift change, we gonna go burn it down like we normally do, right? So, and then Unc was getting it in, and I was Unc's junior. So that just mean, I was his little man, you know what I mean? And the only reason I was his little man is because Unc, he's past 50 now, and I ain't even 40. So it was just an age thing. It was only an age thing, but it wasn't just that. It was, wisdom. He was already in 13 years on me. So he was older. He was wiser. He had a lot. He had a ton of game. He really taught me how to hustle. So, man, I'm back there doing my push-ups, and I see cab driver come back there. So when he come back there, again, I ain't got no problem with him, but I don't really care for him, and I'm the only one in the TV room. So when he come back there, he got this look on his face, and he looking at me, got like this sideways look while he walking kind of slow, and I see his mouth say something like, so I take off my headphone. I said, "What you say?" He said, "Give me some dope." And he got this look to where he like bending his lip. I guess he trying to do his meanest impression ever. He's like, "Give me some dope." So I'm looking at him, and I'm like, "Bro, ain't nothing." He like, "Ain't nothing." I'm like, "Ain't nothing." Because I done put my headphones down, and I'm stretching out my arms to let him know that I'm already loose, if that's what you want. So he done came in, and where I'm at, he's walking around the perimeter of the room, not coming straight up to me. He just walking around the perimeter. But instead of me just, instead of him coming to me or trying to do anything like that, and like to walk behind a person, especially in a situation like this, it's kind of like it is a threat. You know what I mean? So, and for him to walk behind me is a threat, but for me to not acknowledge the threat, it means something too. Now it's two ways that can go. That can mean either I'm scared, or I don't take you serious, and I could get hurt like that, or it just mean what I was shooting for it to mean. I'm a bad motherfucker, man. If you try something, boy, I'm finna hurt you in here. You know what I mean? It's gonna be like 10% fear, 5% anxiousness, and then 85% just action and adrenaline, right? That's how I run. So as he walking around me, like around the perimeter, I ain't turning around because I don't feel no threat, but I'm following him with my head. So when he going all the way behind me, I got him like this, and then I come back like this, and I'm watching him go around. So he gone out the day room. So I'm kind of thinking, I'm thinking because I'm trying to evaluate whether or not we got a problem. Is he finna try to do something? Do he want to rob something? Do I got to beat him? You know what I mean? It's that kind of situation. So I ain't immediately go back to my cards. I'm thinking. So I get ready to put my headphone back on. When I look up, he's coming back in the TV room. So when he coming back in the TV room, all this means something. All this says something. So he coming back in the TV room, I take my headphones off again. And this time I step off from where I was and just step around to the open, because I'm not going to let him circle me again. It's almost like, like a eagle circling prey. You know what I mean? Like a shark circling the prey. You ain't going to keep doing that to me, bro. You ain't going to keep sizing me up. Bottom line, either go with your move or leave me the fuck alone. So that's how we doing it. I step out and he kind of, he still got the look on his face and he looking. And he gonna turn around and leave. You know what I mean? He gonna leave. So I don't make no big deal out of it. I don't make no fuss out of it. A little bit later on in the day, I asked Unc, like, bro, what's up with that nigga, man? I'm finna have to go and, do something to him. Look. And he like, nah, man. He like, Cab ain't on nothing. Cab ain't on nothing. So, if I ain't mistaken, man, I think Unc might have went and gave Cab Driver like a joint or something. Just because, Unc had that wisdom. He didn't want the chaos. I don't think he didn't want me caught up in nothing anyway, but he just didn't want the chaos. But Cab Driver wasn't that kind of guy, man. Cab Driver was the kind of guy that if you give him 5, he want 10. You know what I mean? If you feed him today, he coming tomorrow. So yeah, man, that was the end of that. Cab Driver never tried me again, and it was tension was going a little high, and I had already pretty much prepared myself to do something to him. And we never used weapons. It was gonna be straight hands. I was just gonna beat him, right? And man, one day, they come and it was a little dude from Detroit. They call him Detroit. Light-skinned dude. He was a little shorter than me, and he wasn't no chump. He had a lot of attitude. Some about them Detroit boys, they don't play. But his fight game, the fight game just wasn't matching his attitude. And Cab Driver had tried him, man. Tried him over something that was his, or tried him over. I can't remember what it was. It was something like he took something from him or something. And like Detroit invited him, Cab Driver, to the back, and Cab Driver went back there. And man, next thing you know, Detroit coming back to the front with like the whole side of his face bleeding, fucked up. He can't barely see. He's stumbling. And Cab Driver come from the back like just normal, just like shirt off normal. You know what I mean? And this is bad because, if a person already thinking they're a bully and he moving to a dorm, now he thinking, I can do what I want to these niggas because these niggas are soft. You know what I mean? This altercation happened after what me and him went through, right? So when he did that to Detroit, it actually made me think a little bit like, dang, maybe I shouldn't sleep on dude. Maybe I shouldn't, maybe I should take him serious. When you see somebody bust somebody up like that, you don't just sleep on them no more. You know what I mean? And I end up never getting the opportunity, man. I don't know, because I know I was going to. And I just don't know why him and John Mack got into it. And some kind of way, whatever happened in the moment, it exploded, right? It exploded, and John Mack grabbed a Cab Driver, and it was, if you like, I'm trying to show y'all a picture, but back then John Mack had like a real big chest, but he had a big old chest and real big arms. If y'all see like the George Foreman movie, he had a big chest, real big arms, but he had a big belly too. But the belly was just like, it was like how the gorillas look, like with the big stomach, but then got the chest like that. That's how John Mack was built. And man, he could grab you and belly to belly suplex you with no problem. And he did this to a fat man who was a Cab Driver. So a normal person or a skinny or a slim person like me, it was, you know what I mean? It was nothing. So when they got into it and they exploded, man, they locked up. John Mack picked up Cab Driver and slammed him. Boom. And you could just see the power in John Mack, but they were both so big and both so heavy that when he, turned to slam them, they both fly, they both slam, they both fall. You know what I mean? Boom. When they get up, when they get up, John Mack goes straight at cab driver because he wants some more. He want to get it in. Cab driver ran. Cab driver ran. He started running around. He wouldn't lock back up with John Mack. He wouldn't fight him. He wouldn't go in the room with him or nothing. He actually made the people come and pack him up and take him out the room, man. He went to the hole. And John Mack ain't have to go nowhere. And that was the last I seen the cab driver, man, which was kind of good because I was gonna hurt him. I'm just talking about with my fist, you know what I mean? And then I had to kind of pull back then. If I'd have got on him, he probably had 2-3 people on him. But you know, I'm the type of guy I was gonna stop the fight and be like, nah, let me go on and do this, dude. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, that was old cab driver. I don't think cab driver, he had a life sentence, so he's probably still in there doing the same thing. Unfortunately, John Mack died. And it was crazy because I was on this was like I'm years removed from prison. I'm talking about I've been out years, 7-8 years, and been from job to job doing this and doing this, doing that. And I got a job called Prime going from state to state helping build Walmarts, and you can have traveling partners. So I chose my dad as my traveling partner because that would give him a job. So man, we out there traveling, building the Walmarts one day, and we in the hotel after work talking, and I just remembered another honorable mention. And my dad was talking, and he was telling me how he was saying in the last prison that he was in, how the blood guys were doing this and running that and doing this and running that. And he told me about a new drug. It wasn't the K2, but he told me it was something related. It was something close to meth. But he told me about the new drug that the boys were doing. They had a name for it. And he told me John Mack got strung out on it, man. You know, I couldn't believe it. Then again, he had no reason to lie. And it was weird because when my dad told me, he didn't know that I knew John Mack. So he just talking. Like, he just talking normal. He like, yeah, man, the blood down there, they were doing this, they were doing that. He was like, man, John Mack and them blood down there, they got it. And he just said it so casual. And I'm like, John Mack? He was like, yeah, John Mack was running such. And he was talking about the blood dudes. And again, I knew that to be true because I knew John Mack was a blood. But when I was down there, he wasn't banging. He wasn't gang banging, but he was a blood, a proud blood. But he wasn't, you know what I mean? It just, maybe it wasn't no activity going on or whatever the case was. But yeah, man, I found out from my father that John Mack died. And I was down there heartbroken, man. I was down there heartbroken. I saw a picture with him and his son, and it made me think, because I know John Mack been in prison for a while, and he got a son coming up. So it's crazy. Like, I probably spent more time with John Mack. I probably know his father better than he do. You know what I mean? That's really, really sad, man. That's really, really sad. But again, both of them guys have life sentences, so they made the show. That's going to do it for today, y'all. I appreciate y'all sticking with me, hanging in there. Let me go over one of these honorable mentions with y'all. Tune in for the next one.